Hello everyone, and in this video we're going to show you how to set up fully a pair of CaptoGloves for a non-VR game. So we're going to start by turning on our gloves, and as you can see now I've already added them to my Bluetooth and they're both showing connected, and on my gloves the status light on next to the turn on and turn off button is blue. That means our glove is fully connected to the Bluetooth of our Windows. Now that we know they're both connected, what we're going to do is open our CaptoSuite file, and he's going to connect our two gloves to the suite. Here's just found one, and now here's the second one. Let's wait for them to both connect. Here we go. Perfect. Okay, so now we have both our left and right CaptoGlove connected. If this is the first time you do it, you will probably need to select which one you want to connect to the right and which one you want to connect to the left. So we're going to start now from setting it up. I'm going to skip the part of uploading firmware because I have already the new firmware version. In case you don't, download it from our website from the download section, and follow the upload firmware video to see how to upload the new firmware onto your gloves. So we're going to start to setting up our right glove. So our right hand is going to be the hand that moves our mouse, and also will do most of the functions that require in a normal shooting game. So we're going to start from setting up the mouse. So we're going to this section here, operation mouse to be used, and we want mouse and fingers for let's start from mouse. So this button right here turns red each time we make a different change. This is because if we press this button right here now, what we are doing is uploading any changes that we have made directly on the glove. So if I take my glove now disconnected and go connected to another computer, it's going to have the changes that I've just made here saved. Uh, in case you have different games and they have different setups, instead of doing this, we will be saving the profile. So we will basically save our profile on a folder that we want, and there we're going to have, and then we will be able to load it each time we want. So we can have a profile for a shooting game, a profile for a car game, for a driving game, a simulation game. So each time we would just need to load the profile that we need, and it will be directly on the glove. So we're going to start then from setting up our mouse. We have our mouse operation mode ticked, which means now the only option the only thing that works on our glove is the movement of the hand as a mouse. So we're going to set this up from right here. So right here we are in the mouse setup. So we're going to start from emulating the axis horizontal, and we are going to do it as the yo. As you can see, now if I will move my hand left and right, it will move horizontally the mouse, so left and right. So we need to enable this emulation. We want it to, by ticking this button, it means it will, once I move my hand horizontally, it's going to do the yo. And the sensitivity, we want to set it to 100. 100 is basically a one-to-one. So if I move based on the movement of my hand, the mouse will move exactly as much as I'm moving my hand. So we want this setup to enable sensitivity to 100, axis orientation to yo. Then we go into vertical, and we are going to leave this into pitch. We enable this one and put it to 100. We can then set up auxiliary buttons and the wheel button as well. Not going to do this for this example, but you can set this on the roll or other function or a same function that depends on you, the user. So we have now horizontal and vertical movements set up to pitch and into yaw. So we can upload this just to be safe in case the suite does crash and doesn't save. And we have then set up our mouse. So now our mouse, if we start the emulation with this button here or by pressing the key button on our keyboard, is going to do exactly the movement of the mouse as it's supposed to be. Just going to create, okay, perfect. And then the second function that we're going to, the second thing we're going to add to the right glove is the operation mode of the fingers, because we want to set up on the fingers some of the keyboard keys of the keyboard, some functions that we want to apply. For example, the main one will be adding the trigger button of our gun, so usually the left mouse button of the mouse onto our index finger to best emulate firing a gun. So we check the fingers button, we are in setup, and we go into fingers. Right here, if we go into overall status, we will see all the gloves, all the fingers that we have connected. So right now I am bending all of my fingers from the glove, and as you can see, pinky, ring, middle, index, and thumb bending are all bending. They're all working as they should. I'm releasing, they all go to 0. And then we have the thumb pressure, which is the pressure sensor that is on our thumb tip, and it's working as well. In case some don't work, you can calibrate all at once following the instructions, or just go back and you select the one you want to calibrate. So let's start from our index bending, which is our main. Well, let's start from the thumb. Okay, from the thumb, this one usually what we put it as is a walking. So basically we put it as a W. So we're going to have key trigger enabled, a trigger range of around 90 to 100 because we want to activate it only when we want it to activate, so only while bending much our finger. And then in this section we are going to put emulated device as a keyboard, and here we just press the W key. So in this way we have the W, it's going to press the W key. In the firing key limit we are going to set it to 0. What does this do? So basically while setting it to 0, if I'm holding down my thumb, the thumb is going to, what's going to happen is basically the W key is going to be like keeping the W key on the keyboard pressed. So it's just going to do an infinite number of W's until I release my finger and go under the trigger range. So right here at 89, he's not going to do the function. As soon as he reaches 90, he's going to keep doing W's, and then once I release, he's going to stop. So we're going to set it to 0 because we want an infinite one. As long as I'm holding, I want to walk forward. But while if you make some changes here, if we put it to 1, for example, even if we are holding our thumb and it's staying into 90, he's going to do the W key only once. It doesn't matter how much I hold it, doesn't matter. But every time I reach 90, he's going to do it only once, and this is the same for all the numbers until 16 times. So if I set it to 1 and I want to do an infinite one, what I need to do is press my thumb, release, press my thumb, release, press my thumb, release for an infinite number of times. Each finger, by the way, has also the possibility to set up 2 different keys. So a primary selection and a secondary selection. In a primary, for example, could be 90 to 100. A secondary one, for example, could be a 25 to 40. Key trigger enabled, we will enable the trigger, set up whatever we want on it, and select the emulated function. In this case, we only need a primary one, so we're going to deactivate it. This is our thumb bending, so we set to 0, 90 to 100, W key trigger enabled, we can upload. This doesn't need to be done each time, it can be done once you finished all. I just do it every time because in case the Suite does crash, it doesn't save on the glove, so it's better to do once you're doing big changes. Then we go into index. Index, we're going to have our trigger enabled again, 90 to 100, and in this case, put in our left button, which is our firing button. So we save this, and then we do all the other things for the rest of the fingers. So thumb pressure, for example, let's see over here, I'm taking, for example, the keyboard controls of PUBG. This could be our left shift, the sprint. We can do this. So we put it to 90 to 100. Actually, on the pressure, we can put it even less because it's never pressed. As long as you press it even just a little bit, we want the shift key to be pressed. Shift, infinite number of times. So if I bend my thumb and keep it pressed, and also press it on my index finger, it's going to run forward. If I just bend my thumb, he's going to just walk. So now we have 3 fingers done. We can go into middle bending. Into middle bending, on my right hand, I could have F key to interact. So same thing, 90 to 100, key F. Oh, sorry, I wrote shift F. Here we go. This one we want to do it only once. We want once we activate it, once we bend it to 90 to 100, we want it to activate and to do the F1. We don't want it to do more than once. One is enough to interact with the objects that we need. We save this, re-bending. In this case, we could have, for example, our medkit, which is the 7th key. So ring, enable, 90 to 100, and just press the number 7 on the keyboard. Here it counts as D7. And also this one, we want to do it once. On the pinky, at the moment, I just don't feel like putting anything, to be honest. So I'm just going to leave it there. Then, let's go back to our right glove. Another thing that I like to put on my right hand is the reloading. The reloading, I like to do it almost like mimicking the function in reality. And usually in reality is basically with your left hand you will be doing you will be changing the magazine from the gun, and in this way I'm actually going to do it from the right. So with the right I'm going to basically create an acceleration. Once I'm going to accelerate my hand downwards, and it will be just like mimicking the movement of the gun, and then with the left one would be pulling the magazine from the gun, and then the right hand will be holding the gun. So for me, it feels right to have the recharge of my right one, but you can put it on the left one. It doesn't matter. It's totally up to you. This is how I feel more comfortable with. So I'm going to put an acceleration right here. I'm going to go into acceleration. I'm going to select the axis of the acceleration, which is up and down. So now I am accelerating. I'm basically shaking my glove up and down. And as you can see, the bar is going up and down based on acceleration. So I'm going to trigger this, put it at the, let me see the numbers. So it reaches around 2000. So I would say around 1000. I want to do a small movement, not too fast, but not too slow, because in case I'm moving my hand in the space, I don't want to activate the reloading without me wanting it, I need to make a effort to make this reload. So I'm going to go here, press R, and oh sorry, the left shift as well, and the action duration. Use this option to adjust every firing action duration. So this is the same thing as the other one. I'm going to put it to the minimum and just want it to activate once for, so it's going to do this action only for 200 milliseconds. So basically just once. Upload this. So right now our right glove looks like we got almost every, oh yeah, one last thing, we're going to set up a barometer also for it. So barometer, what's the barometer? Barometer is basically the it's reading the altitude of how high your hand is. To retear it, we need to press the turn on button, turn off button on our glove just once. You just give it a little press. Once you feel you are at the at your zero height. So right now I'm holding my hands at the height of my chest like I'm holding a gun, and this is where I feel this is my 0 point, let's say my starting point. So I'm going to press my button from here, and it's going to reset and go to 0 to tear this altitude to 0, exactly where I am. So now what I want to set up on this one is the right button, which is basically the aiming button, and I want it to activate once I put my hands just close to my face like I'm aiming inside the scope. So now this is my chest height, it's around to 0, and when I go up to my eye, I'm at my eye now, it's about 30, I would say 30 to 40 centimeters. So here we set it from 60 to 30, I would say. So once we are at this altitude, he's going to activate our right button, which we want to activate it infinitely. As long as I'm holding my hand at this side, he is going to hold the right button. We enable this trick as well. We upload it, and for a right one, I feel good about it already. On our left glove, what we want, we don't need the mouse, it's already being controlled by the left one. We definitely gonna need fingers, and we'll do this just in a moment, but we'll start from doing this input axis. So input axis is basically you can assign functions to the movement of your hand. So just a second, I reset it. This is the same resetting. It's the turn on, turn off button from the turn on, turn off button of the glove to reset it to 0. So now what I'm doing is holding my hand almost with my palm holding up, like if I'm holding the end of the gun. So my hands, my palm is facing the ceiling, and I press the button to stay to 0. What I want here is to set up a strafe, so the A and the D key usually on the keyboard, these ones, A and D, to strafe left and right. Strafing, I like to do it with my hand rolling, like if I'm strafing left and strafing right. So on the strafe left, primary, so we're going to set up a primary and a secondary for this. On my primary, I want to roll this one to this one. This is a small bug, the number here is not changing, it's going to be fixed in the next, on a new version, in the next update of the suite. I would say around here, so that's around 40, and this is 70. So on this one we're going to do the A key. It's already set, as you can see. A fire rating to 0, as long as I'm staying here, it's going to do A. And then we're going to set up a secondary as well, which I had done already. I would say on this side just a little less. It feels wrong, too much wrong to move with my and that side. Well, I would say this number should work around here. Buggers here as well, going to be fixed. Yeah, I would say these numbers should work. So now on my left, so if I roll now my hand to the left, it's going to do the A key. I roll to the right, it's going to do our D key. Now we could set up to this also the forward and backward by doing this pitch. So basically by bending upwards my hand and bending it downwards. So we can set it up just to to show. These are totally bugged. These numbers don't change at all. Just going to do it to show you. Yeah, I would say these numbers. This already bent a lot. So right now I am holding down my hand, so we want this one to be our W. Key enabled, primary limit 0. This is our secondary code. Yeah, it's the same. We do primary, go here. This is by going up, here, and this. Upload, and here we go. So now we have set up a full movement now on our input axis by rolling left and right, up and down to go forward and backwards. Let's set up a couple of fingers just to showcase. Then we go through some couple more other features of the suite, and we have already set up our glove for basic usage inside the game. So medkit we've done, first aid firing we have done, targeting, reload we have done, firing mode, unarmed, use a grenade, that's good. Using a grenade we can put an acceleration on the left hand. So basically I'm going to accelerate my hand forward like if I'm throwing a grenade, and to this a forward and backward, key trigger enabled, forward and backward, 1000 to 2000. From 1000 should be okay. This one, and we'll do G. Set it to 200 so it does it only once. And yeah, on this, so now while I'm accelerating my left hand forward, once basically like I mimic the movement of throwing a grenade, you can see the acceleration working. And then this we set up a grenade, so we can mimic throwing the grenade. And yeah, can set up now some couple of finger buttons. Let's see. Can we set up? We can set up with this one. We can set up the changing of the primary weapons for sure. So thumb bending, trigger enabled. First one I can put 1. Press it once only. Thumb bending, then index bending, trigger enabled. Put it into 2. Middle bending into 3. Middle actually bending to trigger enable, because on the middle bending I want to put something else. 3, and then on the ring of pinky I'm going to put throwables, mini weapons. Okay. On the middle bending, which on the middle bending we can set up next weapon, left unarm, hold breath, left shift we have done by We can actually put the shift button also on the thumb pressure, actually here on the left one, to hold the breath while you're aiming, while pulling up. You press your left thumb, you will be holding your breath. 100, tag, this one actually here, because it's a thumb pressure. You want the left shift. And depends on the game. I think there are some that if you hold it, the scope stays up. This left shift, sorry, hold breath. I think it should be hold to as long as you hold it, he's going to hold his breath. I don't think you need to press it once. If you need to press it once, set up this 1 to 1. If it's a game where you need to hold it, press it to 0. Upload. We have now set up basically everything on our glove. I wanted to put my map on opening the map on my middle bending. Right. Okay, so now we have uploaded everything. Our right glove has the acceleration, the barometer, the mouse, and the fingers. Our left on the fingers, the input axis and the acceleration. So now we are basically ready to get in the game. So now our gloves will be already working inside a game. And if we press the start emulation button, now with my right hand I'm controlling the mouse. And I have all my functions working on the fingers. So now this would be setting up basically one game. If we set up a second one and make some changes and then upload it, obviously this will not be saved. So what do? We save this profile somewhere. So we go into here. You select the folders where you want to save it. I have a Gsuite folder with all my profiles. Here we need to create the name of the folder. We first create a folder where we want to put it. And we are going to call it test. Alright. To call it, I need to rename this one. I'm going to call it test shooting game. Shooting. I don't know how to text anymore. Text the test shooting game video. Okay, we select this folder, so we select it, and he's going to save now our profile in that folder with the name we have given to the folder. So my one is right here in Gsuite, profiles, test shooting game video, and here is our file. So now we're going to go into CaptoSuite. Because now there is a bug that if you save it crashes, getting fixed already in the new version. So we had to reopen our suite. I believe there is the same thing on the load, but for the purpose of the video, I'm still going to show because this is the new way we are doing it. So there are still some small bugs. We have made some changes on this, so it's still a little bit buggy. It crashes sometimes, so we're having that fixed on the next version. So now we as you can see we had uploaded before, and everything now is still set up. The mouse, the fingers, barometer on the right, the fingers, the input axis, the acceleration on the left. And what do we do? So we can so let's say we made some changes. So we remove all this crap, this stuff. Okay, so now our glove has have no settings basically. And let's say there is a game that needs only the joystick, and we have set up a joystick, some of the same acceleration, a mouse, whatever it is. If we go into load profile, select the profile that we need for our game, which our game was the test shooting game video, and yes, now uploaded all the functions again. So yeah, guys, this is how you set up your CaptoGlove from zero for a non-VR game. I hope I have answered a lot of questions and a lot of issues that a lot of people had with the suite to understand what everything does. If you have more questions, you know where to find us on support@captoglove.us or info@captoglove.us. And yeah, just Uh, Test it out. Let us know if you find any bugs that we have not seen or found. And guys, see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.